Hi, hello, hello. We have a new chapter of Boku no Hero Academia. This is 245, Rise to Action. We're picking up just where we left off, with Hawks giving this cryptic message to Endeavor. On the surface, seeming like he's just wholeheartedly trying to convince Endeavor of the virtues of the Meta Liberation Army. But of course, we know that he is working undercover to infiltrate said army and gather information. But we don't know if Endeavor knows that. We don't know on what other levels Hawks might be operating. And we knew that this phrasing that he used made reference back to their conversation after the hero rankings, where they went out and had lunch right before the big Nomu fight, where he said, I just want to enjoy myself. I want to make this world one where heroes have time to kill. And someone in my Discord, Crippled Lamp, made a really good comment here that I'm just going to read about what this could be referring to. When Hawks first brought up the world where heroes have time to kill, he was talking about the exact opposite scenario of what the MLA, the Meta Liberation Army, is all about. His previous conversation with Endeavor is pretty much just him saying that the book is only selling because society is unstable after the end of All Might, and that Endeavor needs to become a great enough leader that he'll just naturally prevent crime by existing, which completely goes against everything the MLA and the book says about giving civilians the power and responsibility to save themselves. Hawks is essentially trying to warn Endeavor by contradicting everything he said last time. Okay, so this makes sense. This, I think, is a great interpretation. My plan was actually to go back to their original conversation and reread it, but unfortunately, I don't have access to chapters that far back right now. None of the sites I check normally, at least, has that many backlog chapters, but whatever. We get the gist of it. I guess I could go back and watch the video where I talked about that chapter and see what I had to say about it. At any rate, we see Endeavor thinking through what Hawks is saying to him. Something feels off, his expression too. And keep in mind, the kids are here as well. Our trio of UA students. You gotta wonder what they're thinking about this whole situation. Read it, please. Recommended reading for the #2 hero. Maybe I should check it out. Let's see, to his trademark speed. Got copies for everyone. So it's kind of strange that he's maintaining this front of being actually genuinely for the contents of the book, when really these books are meant to be kind of warnings, saying this is how people are starting to think, that every civilian should hold the power and responsibility for maintaining peace in their own individual hands. Which, I don't know, I mean, it is quite an interesting question, kind of put in the abstract. Like, we know that the Meta Liberation Army is working with villains and has quite nefarious schemes and wants to bring about bloody revolution, but a more agreeable version of their group that still holds the same principles in the abstract. I don't know. It's definitely one worth debating, right? And I think this series is good that they're not going to paint the heroes entirely just in a unilaterally positive light. Like, I think we will maybe see some critique of the hero's ideology as this arc continues. So yeah, I don't know, like, his jacket just full of copies of this book. This all looks kind of suspicious. That's right, it's the era of the #2. Comes to speed, it's all about reading which way the wind's blowing. Almost like he's spreading the gospel. Yeah, you said it, Deku. You said it so much that you're blocking out part of Todoroki's speech bubble. This is really weird to me. At the top left of this page? Don't you think that's weird? That part of Todoroki's speech bubble gets blocked out by Deku's? I don't know. It seems mean. I wonder if that's an error. Like, I wonder if that'll be different in the Tenkoban. Bingo! He agrees. It's like he's spreading the gospel. I love this shot, though, of his wings extending outside of the panel. Or especially just the fact that one wing extends outside of the panel and the other wing goes, like, behind the panel. That's really cool. That's a cool show of depth, really showing the vastness of his wingspan. I'm recommending it to all my friends and heroes across the country, because if nothing else, the liberation ideology will be pretty darn fundamental going forward. And this gives the highlight sections a glance. It's my second recommendation in so many words. Now, I mean, without knowing what sections are highlighted, we can't really draw too much from this, but his really explicit, this is my second recommendation. I don't know, he's kind of even saying, if you read the whole thing, you should take special heed of the parts I've highlighted. Like there's a secondary message that I'm bringing out there. All four of you, good luck with the work study. So he flies off again, and here we see his actual inner thoughts, which we haven't been privy to too much, which is what's causing a lot of this confusion about, like, what the heck is his actual intent with any of this. Train these kids as best you can, Endeavor. Only 22, but he comes out as much wiser. Just 6 years older than us. Wow. Yeah, that's actually pretty crazy. Hawks is only 22. And the number 2 hero in the world. Okay, and Endeavor seems to have immediately gotten the message. Just flipping through the book. Okay. And of course, at the beginning of the chapter, Endeavor himself was kind of confused about this whole situation. Like, he was the one that found Hawks' expression inscrutable, and like, I don't know, I still don't really, like, why couldn't Hawks come right out and say, hey, this ideology is like challenging the way that we do things. We got to be really careful about this. We got to put up an ideological front of heroes are enough to maintain peace in order to combat this idea of civilians are necessary to keep the peace. It's like, why didn't he just say his message directly? And instead he just comes across as giving out all of these political screeds. I don't know. Whoa, this character design is amazing. The flaming sidekickers. Oh my god, I love them all, but especially this girl that's introducing the crew. It's crazy. I don't know what I expected. First work study for Bakugo and Shoto, right? Yup. Because they didn't get their provisional licenses. You three. Wait. No, they had work studies before. Because Bakugo was for working for Best Genus, right? And I don't remember where Todoroki ended up. Yeah, wait, I'm not sure what they're talking about here. First work study. Right? He was working with Best Genus. Whatever. Over 30 sidekicks, we ain't exactly short-staffed. So this is burnin'. So does he only hire flame-themed sidekicks? I don't know. Some of these other guys don't necessarily look flame-themed. But yeah, they've got quite the little office going here. It's impressive. Saying is you won't get a chance to shine. Beat the pros at their own game. Bingo. Don't assume anything just because you're the boss's kid. Yeah, I really don't think that's a concern. This really big guy in the back is interesting. Some sort of body morphing quirk. Kids have got to sink your teeth into this job. Most of the time we're on patrol or standby. We also handle over 100 requests every day, from emergencies to escort missions to special events. Well, this is pretty exciting. We've never seen something like this before, because of course Gran Torino's whole setup was a lot less active, a lot less actually getting calls, a lot less people have actually heard of him. But this is just an example, I guess, of how hero work actually goes. Spoonbill stole my glory. Whoa, Spoonbill. It's like the most humiliating bird name you can think of, I guess. Doesn't make sense. He was so different from usual. So Endeavor's sitting in his very luxurious office, which I guess, you know, such befits the #1 hero. Checking out the Middle Liberation Army book. Should be the one to look into these ominous rumors and tell everyone there's nothing to fear. Society Hmm. Yeah, so this is completely opposite messages, just like Crippled Lamb pointed out. And it's pretty cool the way that they can really reinforce these two ideological uh, boundaries, like these two ideological extremes, by having Hawks um, switch like this, right? Like it really brings across their oppositeness and really shows the ideological conflict that's going to be the core of this arc. A grinning braggart, I guess braggart. Yeah, that's how you say that word. With his heart on his sleeve, that's who I thought you were. At least in front of me, you're always playing the fool. It really seems like he's in love with Hawks. No, I'm just sorry, I'm just kidding. It's just that normally this shot, this panel, where you have like a whole bunch of recollections of somebody's face, is like romance manga 101. So, uh, that wasn't the real you. That's my second recommendation in so many words. So Endeavor is reading that this new, much more serious Hawks is more real. But is it his real personality that's coming through or his real message that's coming through? Something weird about how he said it. Like there's something he couldn't say outright that he needed to communicate. Second words. Now this is impressive. I'm just going to call this out here. That Viz bothered to translate the entire page, you know, into English text is pretty impressive. Like instead of just showing you the highlighted sections or whatever, I'd like to see what it looked like in Japanese because that doesn't look like a human being highlighting. That looks a little too perfect. But now I'm just nitpicking. The very fact that the entire little excerpt is in English in the first place is pretty impressive. Worthy opponent. So that's one thing highlighted. It is vexing. So is it actually such a secret message you just take all of the highlighted parts and put them together into one sentence? Worthy opponent. It's vexing that these meta abilities of liberation concepts, private army. The second word in each highlighted excerpt, they form a message. Ooh, okay, okay. Second recommendation, it's so many words. The second words. Okay, so opponent is Meta Liberation Army. Why didn't he just say that? No? Oh, because they bugged him. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Oh, right, of course. So they sent him out again. The Meta Liberation Army people. He's bugged or something. They're listening to what he said. Oh, of course. Okay, all right. Well, okay. That that makes a lot of sense. That actually just makes a whole lot of sense. I don't know why I didn't think of something like that. I mean, even if it's not literally just a microphone, there's so many people that have quirks and stuff. That, oh, I have a remote listening quirk. Like, done, easy. Like, I don't know why I thought this was such a mystery. Like, oh, why is he acting so cryptically? Why doesn't he just come out and say, I think this is going to be a problem? But now that I realize that there's actually very many obvious reasons why he would be acting cryptically, that his sort of cryptic intents here are actually really well done. Like, I think the hidden message is cool. The fact that he got attention by kind of linking to something that only Endeavor would realize, like by speaking so opposite to that previous conversation they had had. Yeah, this is cool. I'm sure the commission figured out my code and message. They were slower on the uptake. Was it not clear enough? The Liberation Arm Front has a bunch of heroes in its rank. The commission can't get very go. Oh, okay. Opponent is a Meta Liberation Army. League hijacked, over 100,000 members strong. Didn't have a choice. It's not as if I could write him a letter or anything. And here we see on his feathers, these must be bugs. These must be cameras or microphones or something like that. And now we are back at the Meta Liberation Army headquarters. We see this is their elite table, I suppose. All of the members of the League of Villains, plus the remaining head members of the Liberation Army, plus in the back our buddy Gigantomachia. I'm spreading the good word about liberation ideology. Yes, and that's of course how it came off. He gave some impressionable youth copies of the book. He talked about how interesting it is. He was even chatting up the #1 hero, the biggest possible recruit they could get to their cause in terms of fighting force and in terms of ideological reach too. Yeah, okay, it all makes sense. Well, why didn't I think that he could be bugged? It's so obvious in retrospect. Alright, whatever. How is he drinking that through his mask? Well, whatever. Mission still thinks the League consists of just a few members in hiding. None the wiser about the Liberation Army. Still investigating the League's involvement in Deka, but our fellow soldiers are doing their jobs well. All that's left is to slowly but surely re-educate the next generation. Yeah, like those 3 kids. They haven't grown much. Interesting. Of course, they witnessed this whole scene based on Endeavor's camera-equipped, or not Endeavor, Hawks' camera-equipped feathers flying into the scene. This is all part of the Meta Liberation Army's plan. The fact that Dabi is the one calling them out and they haven't grown much, I think is kind of interesting. Alongside the theory that Dabi is one of Todoroki's older brothers. A failed experiment in trying to balance the fire quirk that's hereditary from Endeavor. I don't know. I kind of like that theory. I think that would be a nice little twist and would kind of give that character more emotional impact and add another kind of challenge for Endeavor and Todoroki in this arc. So yeah, I don't know. Is this a subtle hint? Just kind of characterizing him like that? Because Hawks leaves. Try myself not to miss out on even the slightest bit of intel. He closes the door on his feathers. Oh, how clumsy. Oh no, but wait. My fierce wings can pick out sounds from vibrations in the air, so he himself can bug other things. Like, even though his wings are bugs, he can use those wings to bug others. I want to keep the troops morale for now. Right up until Tomura gets his power, then we strike. Excuse me, I gotta sneeze. His power. Ooh, is this a spread? The 4 months from now. Destruction for all, courtesy of Tomura. Okay. So this is kind of our time limit for this arc. 4 months. I feel like we're at the cusp of a great saga that might involve several battles. That looks like it could actually involve a fairly major takedown of a lot of the big villainous players, given that they themselves are putting themselves all on the line. But really what they want is a preventative measure, right? Like, it's not like I think we're going to have necessarily the big showdown in 4 months. It's going to be more investigative, trying to root out the Meta Liberation Army, trying to foil their schemes before they come to pass. Okay, intriguing. We will look forward to the next chapter. Bye-bye.